What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I am the Poetic Killer, and in today's video, we're going to be reading the poem How to Battle Your Demons and Iron Blood. So, we're going to start off with How to Battle Your Demons. All right, let's get to it. You either let your troubles overwhelm you or you destroy it. The point is to run to the finish line. Don't give up or forfeit. When you find solitude in yourself, no obstacle can knock you down. Don't worry about revenge. In this existence, what goes around comes around. The come up can be painful and weary, so when you're on top, truly celebrate. Free your soul if you want to elevate. The goal is to possess a healing state. The only person you should compete with is yourself. Anything else is detrimental. When dealing with life, stay solid and logical. Not all things requires you to be sentimental. And that is how to battle your demons. And now it says, you either let your troubles overwhelm you or destroy it. The point is to run to the finish line. Don't give up or forfeit. So in that line, it's saying that whenever you're going through circumstances, you can either let it overwhelm you or you can allow it to be something that you can overpower. You know what I'm saying? And the best way to do that is by finding your weaknesses and your strength and working on those things and expanding on it. That's the greatest way. So it's either you let it overwhelm you or you destroy it. It's really one or the other. And then it says the point is to run to the finish line, don't give up or forfeit. So whatever vision you have to have that dedication to be able to reach wherever you need to reach, and go as far as you need to go. So you might see a lot of people while you're walking up the stairs. A lot of people have given up. A lot of people are sitting down on the stairs, but you have to be that motivation to keep going so that they can realize that they can still have the opportunity to get up from whatever step they're on and keep going to the top, to the reach the mountaintop. And then it says, when you find solitude in yourself, no obstacle can knock you down. Don't worry about revenge. In this existence, what goes around comes around. So when you find solitude in yourself, no situation, you're fully grounded in what you're doing. You're 10 toes down. You're stable in what you're doing. You're secure in what you're doing. So you cannot easily be knocked down. And so whenever you find a vision or you find something that you want to achieve in this life, it's up to you to be strong hearted and strong minded in what you're doing and be very grounded in what you're doing. Because if you're not grounded in it, then it's going to be easy for you to be swept up your feet and be taken away from you. And then it says, don't worry about revenge. In this existence, what goes around comes around. So whatever energy you put out into your reality is going to come back to you. You know what I mean? Especially if you're doing it out of free will. It's not something that you were forced to do. If you're doing something out of free will and you throw that energy, it will definitely come back. But if it's something you're forced to do, then it's a different type of uh, spiritual and mental laws that comes up with that. You know what I mean? So you have to be very tapped into the into spiritual laws, because if you don't know those type of things, then you can easily sabotage yourself and your experience. So it's very important that when you're putting something out there, and you're definitely sure on what you're putting out there. And you know that if this was to come back to you, it'll be something that you actually want to come back to you. It's not something that you're putting out there that you don't want it to come back to you. So you have to be very mindful of that and be prepared to know that that's something that you have to master as a technique and as an art. Is that you want to put something out there that you know that if it was to come back to you, you would appreciate it, and it's not something that you would want to leave or actually avoid. And then it says, the come up can be painful and weary, so when you're on top, truly celebrate. Free your soul if you want to elevate. The goal is to possess a heavenly state. So the come up is going to be painful. It's like birth. The come up is like birth. It's like giving birth to something new. And by giving birth to something new, it's going to be painful. That's why you see women, when they're in labor, they're in pain, because that is something new coming into reality. So it brings pain, but eventually you're going to enjoy and you're going to find the beauty in that. Just like when you give birth to a child, eventually once you have the child in your arm, you're going to find the beauty in that. So it's very important that you're able to bear that pain because you know that it's worth it. You know that's worth bringing that child into reality, whether mentally or physically. And then it says, yeah, free your soul if you want to elevate. The goal is to possess a heavenly state. So it's very important that for you to free your soul, you want to elevate. You know what I mean? It says in the Bible that the heavens is up, right? So for you to elevate, that means that you have to go up into heaven. and that's where God is at. God is in heaven. So it's the same thing. If God is in heaven, then obviously that is something that you have to elevate to, right? So for you to elevate to something, you have to put in the actions for you to elevate. You cannot elevate without actions, right? You cannot elevate in the gym without putting in the action, without putting in the work. You cannot elevate in um, mastering yourself and your technique and your abilities without putting in the work. So you have to realize that to be with God, you have to learn how to elevate. And to elevate to be with God, you have to learn how to tap into your personal actions and your attributes and your capabilities. And that is the greatest way to elevate to heaven, because that's where the riches is at. You know what I mean? The riches is talking about the energy that you can bring into reality that is very charismatic and can be very impactful to the masses. And you can spread the word of God and the vibration and the energy that would actually expand the world and expand the mind and expand your experience. And then it says, the only person you should compete with is yourself. Anything else is detrimental. When dealing with life, stay solid and logical. Not all things require you to be sentimental. So once you realize that the greatest setback or the greatest warrior or the greatest person you have to fight is yourself, what I mean by that is not saying that you have to have a mental battle with yourself where you eventually go crazy. It's saying that the more you master yourself, the more you have that power and urge within yourself. That's when you eventually defeat the other part of you that is stopping that from happening. You know what I'm saying? Because only you can stop yourself from being your greatest self. Anyone outside of you is just contributing to what you already gave within yourself. So if you already feel like you cannot achieve, someone else saying to you that you cannot achieve is just them adding to what you already created within you. So it all starts from within you, and the more you can realize that, the more you can create that power within yourself. So that when someone does have an opposing view or an opposing thought to your energy, you already know who you are in self, and you already have that power within you. You're not fighting yourself no more. You've been one. It's like in the movie Jet Li with starring Jet Li, the movie called The One. And I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it's basically being able to reach all dimensions of himself in parallel universes and combining them into one. And then once he combined that into one, it was like Thanos. It's like you combine all the energy into one. Now you have that power within you, and you have all this dimensional energy of parallel universe or parallel existence. You've brought that into yourself into one, and you can experience that in reality. So that's what it's talking about there. Um, so yeah, you should. The only person competing is by bettering yourself and mastering yourself. And the more you can master yourself, the more you can master the outside world. And then it says, when dealing with life, stay solid and logical. Not all things requires you to be sentimental. So sometimes, especially when you're experiencing things outside of you, you have to learn how to be more logical, because the outside world has to do with the logical sphere of life. The internal world is more emotional, or aka more creative, whatever way that is. um so it's very important that you realize that the outside world is more of logic. You know what I mean? You're exchanging energy. That's like business. Just like you exchange money, you're exchanging energy with other people. You know what I'm saying? So that's also like a form of logical business. Business is all about maths. You know what I mean? That's logic right there. So you have to understand these type of things. And when you do add that emotional state is when you're in the terms of creation. So let's say you're creating a business with somebody, you both will add your emotional state to that business idea and bringing that into fruition. You know what I mean? You wouldn't really want to add the emotions to the people. You It'll be more of a respectful thing because you have value. You're adding value to each other. So that's where it replaces the emotional part. While the emotional part will really be for what you're creating. So you're more impulsive to create that thing because you're excited for that. You know what I mean? So that's what you add your emotions to. And then when you're relating to other people, it'll be based on value. So yeah, guys, that is how to battle your demons. So that's all about battling yourself. And the more you battle yourself, the more you master yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you have to use yourself as a training ground. And the more you use your mind as your training ground, and you're bringing these ideas and you're learning how to master these type of thoughts and visions and creativity, the more you learn how to master yourself as a warrior, as a warrioress, if you want to call it that too. And you can be able to battle these type of things. But yeah, you have to realize everything's dualistic. You have your angelic energy and your demonic energies, and these type of things is what you're always battling from. You're always going up and down, and it's all about learning how to find that center path so that you can learn how to utilize both energies when you need to. So whether it's because, like I said, let me just quickly give an example before we get to the next poem. There will be some times where people might force you to show your hand, so you might have to be negative in a subjective way. People might see it. So by you being negative to other people, that's positive to you. You know what I'm saying? So to you, to have that self reassurance and that self safety, you have to be negative to others for you to be positive to yourself. You know what I mean? So that's why you have to be careful of labeling good and bad as just one thing. It's subjective depending on who you're interacting with and how the experience is actually playing out. So, you guys, that is that poem, How to Battle Your Demons. And then let's get to the next one. It's called Iron Blood. In life, there are advantages in in life there are advantages in uncomfortable situations. Your desire to grow and elevate should be your only motivation. Sometimes pain is needed to grow wisely and intellectually. Stay true to your path. Everything will turn out positive eventually. A spiritual warrior stays relentless in the midst of confusion and chaos. When faced with dilemmas and rejection, always stay strong and courageous. That's Iron Blood. Now let's break it down. It says, in life, there are advantages in uncomfortable situations. Your desire to grow and elevate should be your only motivation. So in life and in situations, you're gonna have uncomfortable situations. You know what I'm saying? But there's advantages to that because now you learn faster. So especially if you learn and you go through a lot of hardship at a young age, you become wiser faster. You know what I mean? Because it's like you learn a lot of things, the do's and don'ts in life at a young early age faster than your peers. Now that can be detrimental because it can take a hold on your mental state. But at the same time, you already know how to apply to your game plan and your playbook once you reach a certain age compared to your peers. So there's a gift and a curse to all situations. So it's up to you to find a way to perceive it in a way that is more advantageous to you. You know what I mean? So it's very important that you create that perspective that can be more helpful and expensive to your situation and your experiences. And then it says the point is to run to the finish line, don't give up or forfeit. So you gotta keep going. Oh wait, sorry, I'm reading the wrong poem. Your desire to grow and elevate should be your only motivation. In life, there are advantages to uncomfortable situations. So your desire to grow and elevate should be your only motivation. That's the only thing that should be keeping you going. You know what I mean? That should be waking you up every day because you want to go and you want to elevate and you want to expand. You know what I mean? You want to grow. And the more you expand, the more you're gonna see the fruition. Sorry, it's still Mercury retrograde. That's why my mouth is all crazy. But the fruition to your situation. But for you to grow and elevate, you need to put in that energy. You know what I mean? The more you put in that energy, the more it'll grow. And then it says sometimes pain is needed to grow wisely and intellectually. Stay true to your path. Everything will turn out positive eventually. So sometimes pain is needed. You got to go through that pain. Some people can bear that pain and some people cannot. So if you're a powerful soul, you'll be able to bear that pain and actually utilize your pain to something great and actually expand from that and bring something beautiful into this reality. So it's all about how strong you are internally. And then it says, stay true to your path. Everything will turn out positive eventually. So the more you have that vision of, okay, even though I'm going through this situation, there has to be something better from this situation. What can I learn from this situation? What can I do next time so that this doesn't happen again? And the more you can do that, everything will eventually start to play out for you, and it will all start to make out for you in a way where everything will start to be more easier, be more flowing, and you don't have to stress yourself too much and always rely on the outside world for things to work out for you. And then it says a spiritual warrior stays relentless in the midst of confusion and chaos. When faced with dilemmas and rejection, always stay strong and courageous. So a spiritual warrior or spiritual warriors, you got to stay relentless. Even when going through certain situations that, might be confusion and chaos, might be a lot of outside noises, outside distractions. But the more you stay strong and you stay concentrated in what you're trying to do, the more you reach your destination faster. But the more you get sidetracked by things from the rear view mirror, the more you're going to go into a different direction and waste more time. So it's very important that you value your time because time is energy and energy is money. And then it says, when faced with dilemmas and rejection, Always stay strong and courageous. So when faced with dilemmas and rejection, you got to stay strong. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's the whole point of life. It's how strong are you? How can you hold on to that will, that sheer will of being able to keep going, no matter what you're being thrown and what you're dealing with, because uh, certain things just happen. You know what I mean? And the more you're strong, the more you're powerful. Eventually, those things won't affect you no more. And the more you can do that, the more you can actually reach where you need to reach. So yeah, guys, that is Iron Blood. Blood is like a form of energy. It's like how you have a car and you have oil. Certain type of oil is what gives that car the energy for it to drive to one destination to another. Same thing with you. What you ingest into you mentally and physically is what you're going to utilize as your iron blood or your energy to be able to reach where you need to reach. So for your mind, you're going to add a lot of energy of expensive thoughts, expensive knowledge and ideas, and you'll be able to reach far out places. But if you have a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of ideas, then you're only going to reach a little bit of places. So your knowledge and wisdom is really your energy. It's your oil, and the amount of oil that you have for you to be able to shoot your rocket into a far out spaceship or far out space, out of space, is based on what type of ideas and visions do you have, and based on how big and powerful that idea and vision is. Eventually, you'll be able to utilize that as your oil and utilize that as your rocket and be able to reach out far out into space and reach out into a whole new dimension, a whole new experience, a whole new world. You know what I mean? And but you have to start off by being brave and courageous and being relentless in what you're going through. So yeah, guys, that is the points of today. Remember, everything is dualistic in nature. It's subjective. So one man's demon is another man's angel, and one man's angel is another man's demon. So you have to utilize this dualistic energy and utilize everything. Remember, everything's subjective. So don't feel like one thing is one way. There is never one way for things. It's always dualistic. There's always two sides to things. And the more you can use two sides to things, the more you'll be able to be more balanced in your life. So always look at yourself and realize, okay, where am I polarized in my life based on my thinking, my visions, my views on things, my views in life, my views on other people? Where am I being one centered way, one dimensional? And where can I learn how to be dualistic? So when I do make a judgment, I know that I'm making the right, fair judgment. You know what I mean? So, yeah, guys, that is the poems for today. Mine's my speech. You know, it's Mercury retrograde. But until next time, guys, I'll catch you soon.